Boy, oh boy, where do I even begin? Tifa, my Pookie Bear, I have loved you ever since I laid eyes on you. I remember the Wait, am I recording? Tifa Lockhart. She is part of the main crew of Final Fantasy VII. She owns a bar called Seventh Heaven. She's part of Avalanche. And she's the most important character in the game. Yep, you heard me right. More important than Cloud, Barret, or even Aerith. And I would go as far as to say that without her, the whole game would be completely different. So today, I'm going to explain to you all why Tifa is the single most important character in the Final Fantasy VII series. So, first off, let's get the obvious out of the way. Tifa can box, alright? Final Fantasy VII is an interesting game because unlike the previous 6 games that came before it, there aren't any designated classes for the characters, maybe besides Aerith. But Tifa would closely match a monk. So let's start off with her raw strength. Tifa doesn't use weapons unless you count the gloves that she uses. It's straight hands with Tifa. When she was a kid, she was trained by Zangan, who is the greatest martial artist in the world, to learn how to fight. And now, she is hands down the best in the party when it comes to hand-to-hand combat. But not only that, her raw strength alone can only be described as superhuman. As I was researching for this video, I came across this really cool video by Jaru J, where he calculated how strong Tifa is compared to real-world metrics. So if you want a more in-depth description of how that all works, I highly recommend watching it. It's a really good video. I'll put it in the link down below. But to sum it up, Tifa is unique because unlike everyone else, unlike choosing which one you want to use, she uses all of them in one go, with the use of a slot machine. And just like that, the two best things in the world are combined. Tifa and
Can't stop winning.
And she even has a chance to do double damage for each attack if you land on a yeah. And one of those moves is called Meteor Strike, where Tifa can pick up any enemy, no matter the size, with one hand, jump up in the air, and spike them on the ground like a volleyball. So let's just say she, I don't know, picks up one of the Godzilla-sized weapons, particularly the diamond weapon, which are ginormous and weigh thousands of kilograms in density. And when she spikes the diamond weapon on the ground, that will be the same amount of force and strength as 5 atomic bombs. And that's not even her strongest attack. Meteor Strike only does 1.87 times the amount of normal damage than her base damage. Final Heaven does 2.65 times the amount of normal damage. So it is safe to say that Tifa is unequivocally one of, if not the strongest characters in the crew, second to only Cloud because, you know, main character syndrome. But strength is only part of her. Another strong suit of Tifa is her character. Tifa is both this bubbly, cheerful, and kind person who's always down to help people in need, especially when it comes to her friends, especially with Cloud, which we will get to later. But at the same time, she's no pushover. If someone's acting like an asshole, Tifa isn't gonna let them bitch her around. It's because of her personality that we got this absolute gem of a scene, which I cannot wait to see how they remake this in. Oh my god, that's gonna be funny as fuck. But that all kind of pales in comparison for the main reason why I think she is so important. It's because of her relationship with Cloud. Now, Cloud is a case study that takes a whole video, which I will do in the future. But Cloud, for a lack of a better term, he's a tweaker. Bro is not mentally stable, and he probably listens to like fucking Nextbend or something. And even when we see him throughout the beginning of the game, he puts up this facade of being this brooding, dark, and mysterious guy because he thinks he's part of opium or something. And guess what? The only person who's able to reach through that facade is Tifa. Tifa and Cloud grew up together in Nibelheim, where some things happened, so they have a history with each other. And so 5 years later, when they meet up again, Tifa is understandably the only one that is able to break through that tough shell of his. Tifa seems like the only person, besides maybe Aerith, that he'll be open and vulnerable to, and that goes both ways. Cloud seems like one of the few people, again, besides Aerith and maybe Yuffie, that Tifa will be open and vulnerable with. And we can see that throughout the course of the game. But that's only the surface. This goes even deeper. So like mentioned before, Cloud is not alright in the head, and throughout the game, we can see moments where Cloud gets these Genova headaches, for lack of a better term, and there are a lot of moments where Tifa has to be the person to keep him grounded and for him not to lose himself. Like in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, when they're going back up the mountain when they get to Gongaga, Cloud starts to remember Zack, and since his memory's all fucked up, he remembers Zack dying at the waterfall. And that didn't really happen, we obviously know, but according to Tifa, Cloud was never there, and she knows that his memory's messed up, so she basically has to reassure him that those were the order of events to make sure that he doesn't, freaking break down. Because he's like this fucking close from like just mental collapse. Or after the events of the Gongaga Mako reactor where freaking Tifa falls in because of Cloud, he's very upset with himself obviously, and he's starting to worry that he's suffering from cellular degradation, and Tifa of course is the one who is there to tell him like everything's gonna be okay. And it also happens a lot in the OG as well. Like in Union Harbor, Cloud straight up asks Tifa if she really was there at Nibelheim 5 years ago, and again she has to reassure him that in fact she was there. And this is like a constant thing that he has to be like, yeah, everything that you thought was happened, it happened, because she knows, at least to her, that he wasn't there because she didn't remember him being there. But at the same time, she's wrong because he technically was there. Throughout, this is a whole other thing about Final Fantasy VII and unreliable narrators, but you really can't trust either one of them. But beyond all of that, I think the most important moment was when Tifa found Cloud slumped outside of the train station at the 7th sector slums. And as soon as Cloud recognizes Tifa, he snaps out of the trance that he's been ever since he escaped from Hojo's lab. Tifa is so important to Cloud that even just seeing her restores his mental state. And if that doesn't show you how important Tifa is, not just to Cloud, but to the story, I think this one will. Towards the end of Final Fantasy VII, Cloud and Tifa fall into the planet and into the Lifestream. And here we have this moment where Tifa is walking around what is essentially Cloud's broken conscious. And throughout this mission, we go through both of their histories and see the real events of what happened, not only in Nibelheim and what really happened, but when Cloud and Tifa first met, we see that Zack was there in Cloud's place, but Cloud was there too. But he was just a base level guy and not a first class soldier like he promised Tifa. And he was ashamed to show his face, and that's why Tifa does remember him, because to her, Cloud wasn't there. But that also explains why Cloud remembers everything. We also see Tifa and Cloud falling from the bridge, and we see the real reason why they met at the water tower that night and why Cloud wants to become a soldier. Not for himself or for the fame, but for Tifa. And we see that Cloud was the one to kill Sephiroth the first time. And after everything is said and done, Cloud is not only out of his coma, but he returns to who he used to be before Zack died. Tifa not only brought him back, but he fixed him. And he completely drops this like tough guy persona, and he's back to the Cloud he used to be. And the reason this is so important, obviously besides Tifa fixing Cloud's mental state, is because this scene couldn't have been with anyone else but Tifa. They both have that shared experience, so they can fill in the gaps where things don't add up, and because of their connection that they share with each other, Tifa is more easily able to get to Cloud to realize who he really is and bring him back. If it was any other character, hell, even if it was Aerith, if she was theoretically alive, it wouldn't work, because no matter how hard she tries, she doesn't know what happened that day, and despite her best efforts, she doesn't have that same connection that Cloud does with Tifa. And because of their connection is why Tifa is the most important character in the game. Because without Tifa, you start a whole butterfly of events. First of all, Cloud would probably still be in a coma after Zack's death, and even if he did get out, he probably still would have been turned into one of the cloaked people like Roach. Or he maybe would have never even became a soldier. He would have just stayed in Nibelheim and died like everybody else. It starts a whole butterfly effect. Without Tifa, there is no Cloud. And without Cloud, there is no Final Fantasy VII. And that is the most important thing of all. And that is why Tifa is so important. Because of her strength, her character, and her relationship with Cloud. And that's really all I have to say for today, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment down below. What do you guys think of Tifa? I think this is a very easy answer. I like Tifa. I think over time, I've realized that she's probably like one of my favorite video game characters of all time. Maybe, like, if I had to order them in order, I'd probably put Sonic, Oh, I see. It's tough. It's either I'm always constantly tied between Cloud and Tifa because I like both of them a lot. They're like my favorite characters of video games, like favorite characters in media, right? But I would have to put Cloud up there because I think I relate to Cloud a bit more. I'll probably make a video on that eventually, but oh man, I just love this game, bro. It's the whole franchise is, I love it. I love it. But yeah, it's been a while since I made a Final Fantasy VII video. I have a cool video coming up with a nice little collab I think y'all gonna like. So watch out for that next week. Also, thank y'all so much for getting me to my first 100k view video. Y'all are, oh my god, bro. I love y'all so much. Y'all are like the best. Oh man, let's keep this momentum going. Hopefully this Final Fantasy VII video does well. The last one didn't do too great, but I don't really care because I think y'all like Tifa. I like Tifa. I think y'all like this video. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.